Hi guys, I'm Coach Karis. Today we're going to be talking about food and diet because this is probably the most common issue that my clients have. I'm all about feeling good naked, eating food you love, and being really fucking strong. Those are my goals, and those are my clients' goals as well. So, being like super lean, having a six pack, I mean, it's nice, but you're generally a boring person if you are lean as fuck all the time. There's diet culture, which is something that we really need to pay attention to. It's like a really important topic. But there's also wanting to get to a healthy weight, meaning for your body. It's not like 120 pounds for every woman. It's, we can be thick, right? Or we can be really, really petite. So some women, are on this spectrum. Some women are on this end of the spectrum. The point is, and men too, I don't mean just women. But the point is that you're trying to get where you feel the best. And for most people, being super lean is not that point. That being said, a lot of my clients want to, clean up their diet or just like look extra, extra nice for an event. So like wedding, a beach vacation, something like that before 2020 when we could go outside. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with training for aesthetics. There's nothing wrong with, restricting what you eat to a certain degree for aesthetics. The problem comes from people trying to sustain the leanest they can be for as long as possible, which makes you really a miserable fuck. Like, no one wants to be around a person on a diet like all the time. Okay, so how can you accomplish that? How can you eat foods you love and sustain, we'll call it a healthy weight. And sustain means like plus or minus 10 pounds, right? Depending on your size. If you're a teeny tiny person, not 10 pounds. But for me, I'm generally 5, below 10 pounds from where I normally sit, because holidays, shit like that, I stuff my face, it's winter, I don't give a shit. But stuff like that is where I'm going to be on the higher end. And then summer, where I'm usually super busy, I'm much more active, I wear not very much clothing. That's when I want to be leaner, right? And that's okay. The problem, again, is trying to restrict yourself too much. So how can you be in your best body, whatever that is for you, and eat food you love and drink wine and shit like that? Well, it does require some sacrifice. First of all, the more muscle you have, the more calories you can consume. So, doing endless amounts of cardio is not really going to benefit you, at least not in the long run. You need to build muscle, right? And I always tell my clients, when you're not in a place where you're restricting what you eat, that's like the golden time to train to put on muscle. Use the food and the calories to your advantage so that when you are in the mood to cut for an event or whatever, then you have something to show for it by having muscle underneath, right? But initially, I usually recommend that people try to eat as well as possible for like 2 to 4 weeks. And that means like try to minimize cheats and stuff. You also have to learn about yourself. If you know that you need little treats or you're going to go apeshit, that's something to factor in as well. But you have to break the habit, right? If you're used to pizza on every Saturday or Indian food every Friday, wine, whatever, it's going to be really hard to break that habit, especially if alcohol is in the mix. So I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me on this, and that's fine. This is just a strategy because everyone is so different when it comes to food, and that's fine. You have to just like I was saying about training yesterday, you have to find what works for you. So once you do that, you will actually feel really fucking good. And I think that helps you stick to it because once you have a cheat meal, let's call it that, even though I don't like to call it that, you're going to feel like shit. Like, you're going to really, really feel like shit. And it's just going to remind you that that's kind of how you felt all the time when you were eating like that all the time. So it's going to help you stick to the program, right? Or whatever. You're trying to change your diet for life, right? This is not just like, okay, I'm doing this for 4 weeks and then I'm going to eat like a fat ass again, and that's just totally not the point. The point is you have to figure out how to balance those two things. I know, balance, what a bummer. I eat pizza. I ate pizza last night. I, enjoy wine. I watch what I eat though most of the time. Most of the time, I'm eating rice and meat. And my breakfasts are pretty epic because I can't live without that. But again, I manage my diet in a way where I can enjoy that post-workout. It's rice cakes, banana, peanut butter, and honey. I know that sounds lame as shit, but it's fucking awesome. And usually a big ass smoothie too, so all of the fucking carbs. I can do that because I train really hard and I have a lot of lean muscle mass, right? Or muscle mass. So you have to find that sweet spot for yourself, right? If I go overboard with those treats, Indian, all this shit, then I'm going to be on the higher end of my weight, right? Where I'm trying to sustain. And that's not a big deal. If I'm having a good time or something, or even a bad time, if I'm under a lot of stress, that's not the time to try to diet. So, but you always want to have something to go back to. You always want like dependable foods that you can consume throughout the week. They're boring. They're going to be boring. It's okay. Oatmeal, rice, potatoes, sweet potatoes, some kind of meat, some kind of lean protein. You have to kind of build your whole diet around that. If you're expecting every single meal of your day to be like, oh my fucking God, this is so good, maybe weight loss just isn't for you. And that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with not being lean, right? We're so conditioned to think that that's the way you have to be. However, we're talking about if you want to lose fat and sustain that, then the only way to do that is to change the way that you eat. And in order to do that, you have to make sacrifices. And more importantly, you have to teach yourself what feels good and the way that everything will feel better if you change, right? And you can do it. It's fucking hard, but you have to get over this idea that you need to be just like, oh my God, with every fucking meal, because it's not gonna fucking happen. And it shouldn't. Like, grow up. Sorry, I know. But seriously, you will eat better if you're prepared all the time. So bring your stupid lunch and stuff, because you get hungry and you eat your stupid lunch and then you forget about it. And then, Saturday you're going to have like a glass of wine or some pizza or something like that. Like, do that. Do it. Challenge yourself. It is hard. And trust me, I understand more than anyone how important food is for your mental health. It's not just fuel. It's also a way to connect with people and enjoy your fucking life. Like, I'm never going to give up pizza. But also, if you are on the heavy side for your body weight, that's going to affect how your joints feel, how your organs operate, right? This isn't just for looks. This is for your optimal health. If you have any questions about how to do this, how to accomplish this, I offer nutrition coaching on my website virtually. Lola is pumped about that shit. And I also do it in person. Feel free to hit me up. I will answer any and all of your questions. Put it into practice. Find some healthy shit to eat and enjoy. See you guys.